Welcome back to the All Out Fighting YouTube channel. Ned Keating here with Martin Domin again, and we're out of the studio. Finally this week we're out of the studio because we are at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, the site of the fight on Saturday night, but also the site of the final press conferences that we've had today. And Martin, it's starting to liven up a little bit, where we've had the kind of, as Chris Eubank Jr would probably put it, the parliamentary procedures of the grand arrivals and the media workouts. We got to see a bit of verbal sparring today from both sides. What did you make of the press conferences?
It was probably as expected, not quite as lively as the ones we've had before, certainly not as lively as the one in Manchester.
Yeah, no eggs this time.
No eggs this time, no violence, in fact, of any kind, which, and we shouldn't say it, is slightly disappointing. We always love a push and a shove. But Chris Eubank Jr kept to his persona. He wouldn't let Eddie Hearn speak, drove him off the stage, so to speak. And Conor Benn refused to rise to any of his taunts, really. Did we learn very much? No. Was it entertaining? Yes. They faced off properly, closer than we are right now, which was an improvement on Tuesday night. And yeah, let's be honest, they have done a lot of talking. They were never going to say anything new, but you're right, the atmosphere is building now. 48 hours, it's not long.
Yeah, one of the major talking points in there, we kind of expected that Chris Eubank Jr wasn't going to let Eddie Hearn get a word in edgeways, and it seemed Eddie was expecting that as well. He had a little trick up his sleeve. He said to Chris that he wasn't going to, knew that he wouldn't be allowed to speak too much. Thank you there to the lovely gentleman who's just walked across shot as well, if you've just seen that. It is very busy here, it's a live scene. But what I was trying to say there, before that man rudely interrupted us, was that Eddie knew what was coming from Chris and knew that Chris was going to stop him from talking, so he played his own trick. He got Frank Smith up instead to try and do the talking for him, although Chris Eubank Jr gave him the same treatment as well.
Yeah, I mean, at least Eddie had something to say in response. I mean, you have to kind of admire both men in their persistence. You know, this is the third press conference we've had where Chris Eubank Jr has just refused to let Eddie Hearn speak, speaks over him every time. And Eddie Hearn doesn't often not get his way, so it was a little bit of a turn up for the books that he's kind of been put on the back foot for a change, and Frank Smith didn't have much more joy, but kind of knew that and just sort of said what he wanted to say quickly and got off.
When Chris Eubank Jr was talking himself, though, as well, a lot of what he was saying, he was making a lot about Conor Benn's journey to this point and this fight, and the reason why the fight was called off in the first place, the eggs, and even though he has been cleared by the boards, Chris Eubank Jr kept referring to Conor Benn as a cheat throughout the press conference. Was that an attempt to get under his skin a little bit more?
Yes and no. I think nothing really can get under Conor. Certainly nothing of that nature gets under Conor Benn's skin anymore. He has managed very much in the last 2.5 years to get everyone to park the drug tests. If you can tell me anyone who's asked him about it this week, I will be surprised. It's not an issue, and I suspect it's not an issue that the 65,000 fans who are going to watch this fight live here and the thousands/millions who watch it on TV care about. I get that. But Conor Benn is over it now. In his eyes, he has proven his innocence, and he has convinced everyone that it was a mistake. But it has driven Chris Eubank Jr, as he says, this fight 2.5 years ago was about family, about legacy. It kind of almost came about by accident, in the sense that Conor's spoken about it this week. He needed a fight, an opponent. He went down a list. They weren't getting the ones they wanted, and suddenly, well, Chris Eubank, and it was set. So now there is that added element in Chris Eubank's head that he failed 2 drugs tests. I want to punish him, get him out of boxing. And if that's going to help him to train harder, sleep at night, then so be it.
And with Conor Benn, something that we've spoken about off camera as well, is the amount of times that this week he said it's personal. And he says that every fight is personal, but this one's just that little bit more personal. Again, a line that he repeated up there tonight. I mean, if I'd betted on that this week, the amount of times that he said it, I'd have been a rich man, I reckon, by now. But for him, that's what's fueling him, that's what's driving him, that this feeling that there's a little bit more. Of course there's a little bit more to it. His dad wasn't able to get the better of Chris Eubank. Here he is, the son now, able perhaps to kind of restore, I wouldn't say a little bit of family pride, but to help kind of level up the scores, because of course at this point it would be 1-1 each and 1 draw in the third fight.
Yeah, I do enjoy when he's asked if he's going to settle the score. As you've just said, if he wins the fight, it's 1-1-1. So
we'll get a rematch, don't worry. Yeah.
I mean, I do think when Nigel Benn's sitting up there and the idea that this will settle the rivalry. I don't know how well it will sit with him, to be honest. I mean, it's a very, very different rivalry to the one he had with Chris Jr. He lost the first fight, drew the second fight. I don't think he's suddenly going to feel happy about those fights if his son wins. I'm sure it will go some way to it, but no, it definitely is personal. And Conor keeps alluding to these unknown, secret, hidden reasons why he doesn't like Chris Jr. that he won't reveal. I don't know whether he may or may not afterwards. But no, it absolutely is personal. And neither of us and most people watching the fight, all people watching the fight, cannot really understand what it's like to have grown up with famous fathers, in the shadow of famous fathers, to be recognised because of their fathers. It has to be personal. They would be lying if they said it wasn't.
So our future kids will have to deal with those problems as well, won't they? Martin, I'm going to end this show with what ended the show for us tonight as well, the face-offs. And we had one at the Grand Rivals and they were kind of kept miles apart, it felt, in the end. As you said there, they were closer than even how me and you are standing now. And they both just seemed to keep a steely gaze with each other. Both just made fierce eye contact. Even the bodyguards had to get involved in the end just to be able to tear them apart. I was worried that we were going to see a repeat of Tyson Fury Alexander Usyk's 12-minute effort, which I'm not sure I would have been able to film if it was going on for that long. Would have taken up all the memory on my iPhone. But there is this looking into the soul aspect that I feel came from both of them tonight, and they both wanted each other to know, if it wasn't already clear to them, that it's going to be a dogfight Saturday night.
I just don't know how they don't blink. I do not. I've blinked more times doing this video, and I'm under zero pressure than they did during that face-off. It was. I'm glad they got close. I think they have. That kind of says to me the antics are finished. Maybe the weigh-in, I don't know. They're not. They will weigh in behind closed doors on Friday morning, and then when they weigh in for the public, they've started to rehydrate, so they won't quite be weight-starved and ready to get each other's throats. So that could still kick off, but this penultimate one. Yeah, it was very much just about not breaking stare. They were sort of then taken back a bit by a couple of metres, still staring. Then they started to chat to each other a little bit, not sure what they said. And eventually, Conor Benn did turn away first, if you want to look into that. I wouldn't advise it, but that's what happened, and they were taken away. So, I think we've had the antics, had the violence, and now I think they're just ready to get down to business.
Yeah, we've had the press conference and now we've got the weigh-ins as well, and don't forget to check back to the channel on Friday for coverage from those. For now though, thank you very much for watching. Please do get involved in the comments section below as well. Let us know your thoughts on the fight as well, and if anything cropped up from the press conferences that you enjoyed as well. But all that's left for me to say is goodbye.